This former police dog persistently barked at a tree. When its owner finally opened it up, they were astonished by the contents within. The realm of law enforcement extends beyond just human officers. Diverse types of officers include horses, and more notably, police dogs. Nevertheless, due to their varying lifespans, police dogs typically retire around the age of 8. Kyle, a German Shepherd, had reached this juncture in his life. Over the course of 8 years, this canine had dutifully served alongside his handler, a man named John. Their companionship had spanned from the inception of Kyle's training as a police force aspirant. The courageous pup had nearly faced removal from the training program due to his overly affectionate nature, lacking the required aggression to subdue criminals. Yet, through resolute dedication and painstaking effort, John successfully molded Kyle into a proficient police dog, primed to offer support whenever necessary, adept at detecting illegal or suspicious substances. Due to their extensive shared moments, an immensely strong bond developed between them. Ordinarily, a police dog would alternate between handlers based on duty shifts. However, the German Shepherd remained responsive solely to John. Together, they constituted an exceptional team throughout their tenure. Nevertheless, the hour arrived for Kyle's retirement. When police dogs retire, they typically relocate to live with their handlers. Yet this wasn't feasible for Kyle, given the demanding hours of John's work and his recognition that he couldn't provide the necessary attention and care the pup deserved. As a result, Kyle became available for adoption. Though he found himself in 2 different homes, he was returned on both occasions due to the family's inability to manage the requirements and behavior of a former police dog. However, in accordance with the saying, "Third time's the charm," Kyle ultimately discovered his forever home with the Smiths. For the Smith family, it was a case of love at first sight, leading them to promptly adopt Kyle. The endearing pup seamlessly integrated with his new family and readily adjusted to life within their expansive residence. Nestled in the countryside, the Smiths' large house was accompanied by an expansive garden, encompassed by lush fields, woods, and numerous other locales for the ex-police dog to explore. The mature dog relished his time with the newfound family, who found solace in having such an extraordinary canine safeguarding them. One of the canine's favorite activities was accompanying his new owner, Thomas Smith, on leisurely strolls. Typically, Thomas would rise in the morning and seek out Kyle. Spotting his human, the dog would excitedly spring out of his bed, and together they would embark on their morning jaunt. However, an unusual change started to occur. Kyle's enthusiasm for these walks waned. Initially, Thomas attributed it to the German Shepherd adjusting to his fresh surroundings, surmising that the dog required more time to acclimate. Nonetheless, after a couple of weeks elapsed without Kyle exhibiting any eagerness for walks, Thomas recognized the need to assist his furry companion. Entertaining the notion that perhaps the dog's digestion was being unsettled by his diet, Thomas opted for a new brand of food. Furthermore, he also procured a fresh dog bed, thinking that added comfort might alleviate any discomfort in Kyle's aging joints. Despite these efforts, none yielded results. To compound matters, Kyle even began to exhibit disinterest in his meals. Fearing a deeper underlying issue, Thomas grew concerned for his new companion's well-being. Thus, he resolved to consult a veterinarian, hoping to uncover the source of the dog's apparent despondency and find a solution to rectify it. The veterinarian conducted a comprehensive health evaluation on the canine, yet all test results returned normal. For a dog of his age, Kyle was in impeccable condition. Perplexed by the situation, Thomas recounted all recent occurrences involving the dog to the vet. However, the vet was as puzzled as Thomas about the potential reasons behind Kyle's behavioral shifts. Unbeknownst to Thomas, he was on the cusp of unraveling the mystery himself. In his quest to restore the dog to his usual self, Thomas endeavored to coax Kyle outdoors and led him on a walk through the woods. This was a path they had tread countless times before, but an alteration was in store. Initially, Kyle walked serenely beside Thomas until they deviated slightly from the trail to explore. Unexpectedly, the German Shepherd's demeanor transformed. He stood alert with raised hackles, tugging intensely on his leash. Taken aback by his dog's newfound vitality, Thomas inadvertently released the leash, allowing Kyle to sprint into the thicket. Wary of losing his companion, Thomas sprinted after Kyle, who had his nose firmly to the ground, seemingly tracing a scent. Ultimately, the dog halted before an apparently ordinary tree. After a brief interval, Thomas caught up to Kyle and attempted to beckon him away from the tree. However, Kyle remained immobile. Instead, he lay down right in front of the tree, obstinately refusing to budge. Approaching the tree, Thomas scrutinized it thoroughly. The plant exhibited no peculiarities, and its branches, stripped bare by winter, held no concealed items. So what had sparked his dog's intense interest? Frustrated by his unsuccessful attempts to coax the German Shepherd away, Thomas decided to reach out to Kyle's former police partner John, seeking insights into the unusual behavior. After recounting the strange actions of the dog, John confirmed that he had witnessed Kyle exhibit such behavior in the past. During investigations, if Kyle uncovered a clue, he was trained to sit and remain by the discovery site, awaiting his handler's arrival to examine it. Armed with this knowledge, Thomas informed John that the canine was currently stationed near the base of a tree. Upon hearing this, John's demeanor grew somewhat apprehensive. He urged Thomas to inspect the area around the tree, but also cautioned him to exercise caution, as he was uncertain about the nature of what Kyle might have stumbled upon. As Thomas drew near to the tree, he observed that the bark appeared to be loosely attached. Just as he advanced to investigate, Kyle's loud barking seemed to intensify, as if spurred by Thomas's approach. Intrigued by the potential contents within the tree, Thomas gingerly peeled back the bark. The sight that met his eyes left him profoundly astonished. Recoiling, he hastily retrieved his phone and dialed John once again. In explicit detail, he recounted what Kyle had stumbled upon concealed within the tree. Somewhat skeptical yet keen on thorough investigation, John hastened to assemble a team of forensics experts before converging on the scene. Upon arrival, amidst the palpable excitement of being reunited, Kyle greeted his former handler with exuberance. Likewise, John's demeanor reflected his joy at seeing the dog once more, though they quickly redirected their attention to the pressing matter at hand. With Kyle's persistent barking as a guide, John approached the tree with caution and, following the dog's lead, carefully peeled back the bark. To his equal amazement, he discovered the same shocking sight that had astonished Thomas. Realizing the gravity of the situation, John concluded that backup was imperative. The revelation was chilling. Kyle had uncovered a human skeleton concealed within the tree. To gain a more comprehensive view of the remains, the officers deemed it necessary to fell the tree, allowing them to extract the body carefully. Once exposed, John recognized the need for further assistance. However, right before he was about to contact his chief, another officer intervened. Upon closer inspection, they realized that the skeleton was, in fact, a prop. It appeared that someone had left it out, perhaps as a remnant of an old Halloween decoration or as a mischievous prank. Nevertheless, a collective sigh of relief swept over the group upon confirming that the discovery wasn't real. This left a lingering question. Why had Kyle been so fixated on the fake skeleton? After all, his training enabled him to distinguish between menacing and harmless scents. The puzzle was solved when John directed his gaze toward his former partner, sitting contentedly by his side, gazing up at him with sheer delight. The revelation was heartwarming. Kyle's persistence could be attributed to his yearning for his former partner's company. What better way to draw John's attention than to engage in his police training, something John would respond to promptly. Overwhelmed by a sense of guilt, John opted to stay at Thomas's residence for a while, dedicating quality time to Kyle. The pup reveled in the attention, gleefully frolicking with John for hours. Observing the bond between them, Thomas witnessed the profound affection the canine held for his ex-partner. Thankfully, it became evident that Kyle and John's reunion served as a catalyst, coaxing the dog out of his emotional shell and rekindling his zest for life. As the time came for John to bid farewell to Kyle, he did so with a promise to visit as often as possible. Grinning, the dog nestled next to Thomas, affirming that he was indeed in secure hands and that he would receive all the love he deserved. How remarkable is the intelligence of that dog? Share your impressions of the story in the comments section down below, and remember to show your support by liking and subscribing for more captivating narratives.